class starting in about 10 minutes. I'm going to try and get this done quickly, but this is for me a very important video that I think is probably the reason why I started making videos again. And it's to do with us, young people, the youth, Africa, and our future. And so I've got in front of me some papers, which I'm sure I put the video here, which you saw, which is just me like brainstorming and stuff. But there's one paper that I just want to read something on it that I wrote the other day whilst I was thinking about Africa and writing notes and stuff. See, there's a disadvantage of writing so much you don't know where you put things. Yeah, found it. So I think let's just get straight into it. So I wrote this whilst I was thinking about this, and it says, "The future of Africa is in the hands of the youth. Fair and fine, but if we have a whole continent in our hands, then what is in our minds?" And I think that's a very important question because, look, I understand that as young people, we're supposed to have fun, we're supposed to do all these things and, be kids. And I get that. But at the same time, I think with the situation we're in, it's not just say all of your time must be spent on serious things, but, we do have to pay a certain amount of attention to the situation we're in, given, what lies ahead of us, right? Because, look, I've spoken to a number of people, friends, peers, whatever, and when you talk about change, the one thing that they say is, oh, it's the politics, it's the government, it's all these things. And so I then think to myself, okay, if, let's just say, magically, overnight things were to change, would we even be ready to embrace that change? We've like switched off our minds and we've told ourselves that, what, it's the politics, it's this, is this, and we just ship ourselves off to other countries, which is okay. I don't know if I can say it's okay because people put themselves first, but my point is just that the situation we're in needs us to think about some of these things, and that's what I wanted to address today, right? So if we look at it globally, right, everything has been done in places like America, the UK, Asia, Australia, a lot of these places. And if we look closely, there's so many companies which are investing in Africa right now from outside, right? Africa is not only the fastest growing population, but of our population, majority of it is young people. I'm not sure if the statistic was like more than half of it are below the age of 25 or 35, something like that. But basically, we have a very young population, and we're the fastest growing continent on the planet. And so there lies a lot of opportunity in there, and but at the same time, opportunity is just that. It's just opportunity. It doesn't mean that just because the numbers look good that things will actually turn out that way. We may lose these opportunities to those who are not necessarily ready, but those who are just aware of them, right? And as heirs to this great continent of ours, I really think that it's important we start to have conversations about our future. Far too many times when I speak to my friends or whatever, the response I get is like, don't take it too seriously, you're too serious. And it's like, for me, I don't even see it as being serious. Like, this is just something I'm interested in, and because of the responses I've gotten from so many young people, that's what has also compelled me to make videos like this, because I just don't see some of these things being spoken about enough. Which reminds me, I was actually having this heated discussion with my roommate, and I was trying to ask him, what could we do about Zimbabwe as young people? Then, of course, there's a lot of barriers, which we all know. But I said, okay, hypothetically speaking, let's say we were to, let's put that idea on the shelf, and let's say we had the chance that maybe whatever we could do would actually work. And we started to talk. I think it lasted about 2 hours of us talking. But essentially, the conclusion was something like it involved the youth banding together, agreeing on certain things, and us having our own initiative to drive certain things forward. It wouldn't necessarily be political, but in the event, if and when things would eventually change, because we were already together doing whatever we agreed on as the young people, when that stuff then changes and the environment is such that it allows us to actually grow and improve the movement or the projects we'll be working. I ran into some technical difficulties there, but just to continue what I was saying that in the event that we were to agree on something to do as young people, to move in the right direction or in a better direction, when things would eventually change, we would be in a good position to actually carry those things forward, right? And scale them up rather than waiting for things to get good and then starting. We're already far behind, and doing that would just make us, trail even further back. So, I've thought about this and reflected on it, and you know what? It's not me taking things too seriously. That's not the case. These are just things I'm interested in, and I just feel compelled to speak about these things. And one thing that I must really emphasize is that I'm no expert, right? I'm just a very curious guy who wants you to think about some things that you haven't potentially thought about, and who knows what that could do for you. Maybe you are the person we need to go and do this. Maybe me talking about this can get a conversation started and we can all do something together. Look, I don't know, but I just think that as young people in Zimbabwe, in Africa, across the world, it really confuses me. Or it's nice to say, oh, the young people the future's in the hands of the young people, but like, what are the young people actually thinking about? That's the more important question. Like, we know as a matter of time, yeah, we will be the ones who are leaders and whatever, but in the time leading up to that, how many of us are actually thinking about some of these things? I'm not saying go and become an activist or a politician or whatever. If it's sports, if it's art or culture or whatever, there's so many things that we can do, to actually just start moving forward as young people. So that's what I feel mandated to do. And as a person making this video and saying all these things, I'm also going to be thinking, about ways for me to contribute, or for us to contribute to some positive change. And I've got this piece of paper right here, right, which is basically got a list of some of my ideas for videos. I've got an idea for money, which is Money Mondays with Mtulisi, because Africa is the poor. It hurts to say this because, anyways, it's the poorest continent, right? So there's clearly a need for us to get our money right? So I want to speak on that. I think a lot of financial literacy is needed right now. There's a trend where a lot of investment firms, financial institutions are trying to target young people, but they're used to targeting much older people, so their form of communication may not be so relevant. Young people want access to investments, they want to do all of these things, but somewhere, somehow, these two parties are getting lost. And so maybe I can contribute to bridging that gap between the people who have the money and those who want access to it, right? We've got things like, I want to do book reviews, I want to speak on career ideation and planning. I want to speak on, whatever business news is happening that I'm interested in. There's a lot. As you saw all these papers here. So, look, I have a lesson starting right now. So, let me get going. But I just wanted to make this video to say that as the youth of Africa, the youth generally across the world, we need to start thinking. Yeah, we've got the future in our hands, but, what's in our minds? Look at a crazy guy who's got a gun in his hands. He's just shooting everywhere aimlessly. What's the difference between us and that person? You know? So yeah, don't get too excited that we're just young and Africa's got potential, but we need to start thinking and start doing things. That's the only way that things will change. So I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Let me go. There's a lot of work to be done, a lot of research, a lot of conversations. Yeah, there's a lot. You know, I think it was Cecil John Rose before he died. He said, I think it was his last words or something. He was like, so much to do, so little done. But look at everything that he had done. So yeah, my brothers and sisters, we have a lot of work to do. Let's get to it.